Hello there, you're tuned in to 7Edition. I'm Sabrina Zainal and these are your headlines. Attorney General may reopen Altan Tuya's murder case. 2 kidnappers killed in a shootout with police. And at least 25 dead after bus plunges into ravine. We begin tonight with this story. The Attorney General may look into reopening the murder case of Mongolian Altan Tuya Sharibu, allegedly linked to former Premier Datuk Sri Najib Razak. Tan Sri Tommy Thomas said the lack of motive by the 2 police commandos convicted for the murder meant there was an incomplete picture of the crime.
In a report by Bloomberg, Thomas was quoted saying the courts that sentenced the 2 police commandos to death had grappled with their lack of motive. While Azila Hadri's recent statutory declaration, or SD, indicated that there may in fact be a reason for the murder, Thomas, however, said the reopening of the case was for the purpose of police reinvestigation. In 2009, Azila and another ex-commando, Sirul Azhar Omar, were found guilty of killing Altan Tuya in 2006, but were released in 2013 on appeal. The federal court upheld their conviction in 2015 and reinstated their death sentence. Azila has now made an SD that Datuk Sri Najib gave him a direct order to kill Altan Tuya, an SD which was included in his application for the federal court to review its 2015 ruling. Last Friday, Datuk Sri Najib performed the Sumpah Laknat that he didn't give the order to kill Altan Tuya and had never met her.
The Health Ministry's National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency, NPRA, named 5 cosmetic products that contain scheduled poisons which can be harmful to the health. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said these cosmetic products were no longer allowed to be sold in Malaysia. Now, the banned products are Natural Plant Skin Refining Moisturizer Cream, Sparkle Moon Night Cream, V3 Premier Beauty Facial Night Cream, Brilliant Skin Essentials Rejuvenating Facial Toner, and Brilliant Skin Essentials Rejuvenating Facial Cream. In a statement, Dr. Nur Hisham said these products contained scheduled poisons like miconazole, mercury and tretinoin, which can only be used on the advice of health professionals. Those who are using the products are advised to stop immediately and seek advice from health professionals if they experience any discomfort. Now, in other news, 2 kidnappers were shot dead early this morning during a shootout with police after a businessman was kidnapped for ransom. An officer also sustained gunshot wounds in his leg during the incident at an oil palm plantation in Mersing. Fortunately, the 41-year-old kidnapped victim was rescued alive, though he was shot in the back. According to Johor Police, the victim was kidnapped last Tuesday by 4 masked men armed with guns as he left his home to go to a food stall in Taman Gaya, Ulu Tiram. The family later lodged a police report after the suspects demanded 10 million Singapore dollars in ransom for his release. Acting on the report, police formed a special team aided by a special investigations team from Bukit Aman as well as the D8 team. On the 6th day, after the family agreed to the demands of the kidnappers, police moved in on them yesterday evening after tracking down the location of the victim at an estate in Mersing.
Apabila pegawai serbuan cuba menghampiri, penjenayah terus melepaskan tembakan. Dan saya percaya kumpulan ini adalah kumpulan yang ganas. Dalam keadaan gelap malam, terus dia lepaskan tembakan dan dalam usaha untuk melepaskan diri, dia juga telah melepaskan satu das tembakan ke arah mangsa culik.
Following the shootout, police recovered 2 semi-automatic 9mm and 45mm caliber pistols from 2 suspects. Police, however, believe at least 6 people were involved in the kidnapping. A probe into the incident has been launched.
Now, some 100 kilograms of drugs believed to be shabu were seized in a police operation at Kampung Lubuk Gong, Rantau Panjang, Kelantan. The drugs are valued at about 7 million ringgit, recovered following a high-speed car chase yesterday. 2 suspects, however, managed to escape.
A team from the 7th Battalion General Operations Force, PGA, came across a suspicious-looking Mitsubishi Triton at about 8:30 p.m. and tried to intercept it. PGA personnel were prompted to chase after the vehicle when the driver suddenly sped off. The pickup truck finally stopped at Kampung Tasik Permai in Lubuk Gong, where 2 suspects fled into a nearby swamp.
Pihak polis juga telah menjumpai dokumen pengenalan diri. 1, my card, salah seorang suspek yang berjaya melarikan diri.
An inspection on the Mitsubishi Triton found the drugs packed in dozens of Chinese tea packages in 4 boxes. Police believe the drugs were smuggled in from a neighboring country for distribution in the Klang Valley and local markets. This is the biggest seizure made by the PGA so far this year.
In other news, a 31-year-old man was remanded for 6 days after he was accused of molesting a 9-year-old girl. The incident occurred in the toilet of a surau in Sungai Petani, Kedah. CCTV footage of the December 13th incident went viral online recently, drawing the ire of the public. The man will be investigated under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act. In Johor Bahru, a factory worker was fined 1,500 ringgit by the magistrate's court for punching and breaking a glass window at the immigration department in Setia Tropika. Chong Kin Hong, aged 38, was imposed the fine after he pleaded guilty to the offence. He is facing a jail term of up to a year and was ordered to pay 300 ringgit in damages to the Johor Immigration Department for breaking the glass window.
Moving on, the Pahang government's use of force against illegal vegetable farmers in Cameron Highlands was regrettable and should not have happened, especially during the festive season. Pahang Pakatan Harapan Chairman Fuzia Saleh said the state should have identified the land for long-term use for small-scale farmers.
In a statement, Fuzia, who is also the Kuantan MP, said the farmers could then invest in the right equipment for better yields. They can also be trained to use modern technology, as well as good agricultural practices to avoid the use of illegal pesticides. Fuzia noted that although the illegal farms were set up in the water catchment area, the authorities could act humanely by waiting for the crops to be harvested before moving them to lots identified. With schooling term approaching, Fuzia said the farmers needed the harvest to fund their children's needs next year. 7 people, including former Padang Serai MP and Gobala Krishnan, were arrested and later released over a sit-in protest against the eviction yesterday.
Now, updates on the water supply disruption in the Klang Valley. The restoration of water supply to areas in Petaling, Hulu Langat, Sepang and Putrajaya affected by odor pollution in Sungai Semenyih has reached 56.9% as of noon today. Now, according to Pengurusan Air Selangor Sendirian Berhad, water supply for affected consumers was restored in stages depending on the geographical position and altitude of their premises. This means areas near the distribution system are expected to receive supply sooner. Air Selangor has also intensified assistance to the affected areas by mobilizing 72 water tankers and 21 jumbo tankers. The Bukit Tampoy water treatment plant resumed operations at 9 a.m. today, and pumping and stabilization of the distribution system were underway, while the Sungai Semenyih water treatment plant resumed operations at 1 p.m. yesterday. Now let's take a short break, but when we return, driver almost runs over woman who tries to reserve parking spot. The details next. We're back with foreign news. At least 25 people died and 14 others were injured after a bus plunged into a ravine in Indonesia late Monday. According to police, the bus carrying dozens of passengers fell into a 150-meter ravine in the South Sumatra province just before midnight and ended up in the river.
Footage shared by the rescue team showed bodies being taken out of the water. A local police spokesman said the bus crashed into a concrete road barrier before plunging into the ravine, adding that no other vehicles were involved. He also said that injured survivors were taken to the hospital and the cause of the accident is being investigated. The accident happened in a remote and steep area near the town of Pagar Alam, hampering the efforts to rescue the victims. According to a passenger manifest, the regional bus left Bengkulu province for Pagar Alam with 27 on board, but some survivors told police there were around 50 people inside when the accident happened. Traffic accidents are common in the Southeast Asian archipelago, where vehicles are often old and poorly maintained, and road rules regularly flouted.
Next, Indian authorities stepped up security and shut down the internet in various places on Tuesday, while members of the ruling party planned marches backing a new citizenship law, even though nationwide protests against it are escalating. Now, an Interior Ministry official said the government expected all state security officials to be on duty on Christmas Eve and throughout the holiday week. At least 20 rallies in support or against the new law were scheduled in different cities. The Citizenship Amendment Act, or CAA, aims to fast-track citizenship for persecuted Hindus, Parsis, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains and Christians who arrived in India before December 31st, 2014 from Muslim-majority Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan. Its passing on December 11th triggered demonstrations in the eastern state of Assam, where protesters fear it will make illegal migrants from Bangladesh legal residents. Meanwhile, 5 people were hospitalized after Christmas shoppers were crushed in a midnight balloon drop of gift vouchers at the Westfield Parramatta shopping centre on Tuesday. Video footage showed people jostling for the gold, silver and white balloons containing gift cards. As the crowd surged, shoppers were sent sprawling, including one person dressed as Santa Claus. 4 men and 1 woman were taken to hospital. 3 of the transported patients had more serious issues, including traumatic chest injuries, neck and back pain, as well as nausea and dizziness. Centre Group, which owns the Westfield chain in Australia, said that it was investigating the incident. Now it's time for Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. Throughout the year, we have reported on many choke parking cases that have become viral, but some people just don't learn from their mistakes. Here's another, but for this particular driver, parking chopers are not a problem because he has his own ways to get rid of them. This shocking video raked in over 870,000 views. Take a look.
Recently uploaded onto Facebook, the video shows the driver hunting for a parking spot inside a parking basement when he suddenly notices one empty lot right in front of his car. But annoyingly, there was someone already standing on the empty lot, chopping the parking. Now, what the driver did in reaction was a little bit shocking. Slamming on the gas, he drives right into the parking space, narrowly missing the person who was chopping the empty spot before parking his car. While we are thankful that nobody got hurt in the incident, we really have to hand it to the guy for even daring to go to such lengths to get his parking spot. But of course, things could have gotten pretty ugly if an accident really happened in that instance. Let this be a reminder that chopping parking is illegal and perpetrators can be fined up to 2,000 ringgit.
Now updated as of 7 p.m., here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Thank you for staying with us. National Higher Education Fund Corporation, PTPTN, expects a competitive dividend distribution for the National Education Savings Scheme, SSPN, this year. Its chairman, Wan Saiful Wan Jan, said the expectation was based on its current performance. Now, as of the third quarter of 2019, 4.26 million accounts have been opened since the launching, with total savings of nearly 5 billion ringgit so far. In terms of new accounts this year, 347,709 accounts have been opened until September 30th, 2019. SSPN recorded 51.5 million ringgit in accumulated investment profits as at the third quarter, a 25.9% increase from the same period last year. The fund will announce the 2019 dividend in mid-January. Moving on, Boeing fired its chief executive, Dennis Muilenburg, in a bid to restore confidence in the firm after two deadly crashes involving its 737 MAX plane. More than 340 people died in the disasters, prompting accusations that Boeing put profit before safety. Families of the victims welcomed Muilenburg's resignation as overdue, but said Boeing's decision to replace him with a longtime board member raised questions about its commitment to change. Now, Boeing named David Calhoun, who has served on the firm's board since 2009 and is current chairman, as chief executive and president. Bursa Malaysia ended broadly lower on Christmas Eve on active selling activities in selected heavyweights led by TNB and Public Bank. The FBM KLCI declined 9.95 points to close at 1,604.23. Now on to stocks to watch. Malakoff Corporation's 65% owned subsidiaries have been selected as two of the successful bidders in a competitive feed-in tariff e-bidding small hydro tender exercise. This is positive as it would help Malakoff build up its experience and track record in the renewable energy space. Next and last on the list, Petronas Gas Berhad, or PETGAS, announced that it received a letter via the Energy Commission stating the approval of a new set of tariffs for the regulatory period 1 for PETGAS facilities, which includes tariffs for Peninsular Gas Utilization, Regasification Terminal Sungai Udang, and Regasification Terminal Pengerang Johor. The new tariffs for RP1 will commence from January 1st, 2020 and will last until December 31st, 2022.
2019 stands out in the annals of history as a challenging year, but also one filled with hope.
How dare you!
Revisiting the highs and lows throughout the year, from destructive weather and disaster woes to the people that inspire us to make a difference, and what's to come in 2020. Join us on December 31st at 11:30 p.m. as we look back at the defining moments of 2019, only on NTV7.
Record numbers of holiday makers are now visiting Finland's northern Lapland region in winter in search of an authentic Christmas experience. The Santa Claus village on the Arctic Circle is about as close to a real-life Christmas card scene. Let's take a look at the visuals of the village as we wrap up 7 Edition. I'm Sabrina Zaina. Thanks for tuning in. Merry Christmas and have a good night.